Brad Wharton here for Cage Warriors in beautiful Amman, Jordan, and I'm joined at this time by one half of Friday night's Cage Warriors Fight Night 10 main event, Jack Marshman. Jack, it's great to have you here, man. It seems like it's been ages now people are talking about you coming to Cage Warriors and competing on Cage Warriors, so I guess the first question is why Cage Warriors and how does it feel now you're finally here?
Yeah, it's something I've been thinking about for a long time. And then you just see I see this keep progressing and getting bigger and bigger, and I wanted to come over for a long time, but it was things happening at the time which made me stay where I was, and then in the end I decided I had to do what was best for me, and obviously as most boys in Britain know, this is what's best for me, so that's why I came over, and I'm really excited. I was chuffed to bits to get the main event status in the first fight, which I wasn't expecting, so I'm over the moon with that, really.
And a cracking little joint that we've got to stay in for the next few days here as well.
Yeah, I've travelled a bit now with fighting, and this is one of the nicest places I've travelled to. Well, definitely one of the nicest hotels they've put us in, but it's just one of the perks of fighting, I think. You train hard and slog it out in the cage, and this is just one of the benefits of it, I think, which I'm happy about.
Absolutely. Looking back to last year, it was a bit of a roller coaster ride for you. I think 3 wins, 2 losses. Tell us about last year in your own words.
I'd say it's probably my worst year that I've had through fighting, whether it was boxing, MMA, anything. It's just the worst year I had. I think I took fights, some maybe a little bit light, some just, in one fight I just got caught. But then towards the back end of the year, I had 2 solid wins that they were on smaller shows, but they were probably the best performances I've put in a long time, as in I totally out-wrestled guys, totally out-grappled guys, and I think so. I'm glad now I got them 2 fights to get me out of the way, and I think tomorrow that's what you'll see the stand-up that you've always seen, and then you'll see that my much advanced wrestling game and grappling games come on. So
as you said, you got those 2 wins at the end of the year, so you've got a bit of momentum going into this one. Is that something that you think about when you going into a fight? Do you prefer going into a fight with a bit of momentum behind you, or does it not make a difference?
No, the last one makes no difference to me, really. It's good because the last 2 I've done was the first time I got her in the cage and done exactly what I do in the gym. The guys couldn't take me down. I would put the guys down on the back. I was outboxing the guys. I was doing exactly what I do in the gym, and I put it into the cage, which is the first time. Even when I was 10-0 and everyone was rating me quite high, I weren't nowhere near as good as I was performing in the gym. But then in my last 2 fights, I've actually picked it up a bit. But my last fight, I was actually dying with the flu, and I still performed better than I have done in my last 13, 14 fights, so I was happy with that. So
looking forward then to this Friday's fight, Abu Azaitar, have you had much time to do any scouting? What do you know about the guy, and how do you think the fight's going to go down?
Yeah, I watched some video on him. He's got quite a lot on YouTube, and he's had 10 fights, won 8. I seen the one he lost. People said, he was with a cut, but he did get dropped, mounted, and then cut. So that is a genuine stoppage, I think. But I think he's real powerful. He's a guy that if he hits you, he'll hurt you. But he's not very technical with trying to hit you. But he'll come forward swinging. And I think on the wrestling front and the grappling front, I'm much better. I think I'm a better boxer, but more in a technical sense, more than a power hitter. So yeah, it's an interesting matchup. He's a guy going to be trying to go for the one-punch knockout. I'll be looking to stop him probably with a TKO, first or probably second, because he's a big muscle-bound guy that tires down a bit.
Jack, I remember the first time I interviewed you was before the Carl Noon fight many moons ago, and I remember you saying to me as the first time you'd ever been in a hotel doing a press day and everything. How's things changed from then? I mean, for you, as a fighter and the experience of doing all the media and stuff, how is Jack Marshman different now than he was then? And have you enjoyed the experience overall so far?
Yeah, it has all been enjoyable, but I just say I'm less naive because, like I said, I went 10-0 in my first 10 fights against good level guys, and I was just boxing 5 times a week. I wasn't a professional fighter, even though I'd done well. But now I've progressed, and I when I'm doing interviews, I know more about my opponents, and I know what the game plans are, and I know what I got to work and stuff like that. So I think I've done all my learning on the job. You know what I mean? I've like most guys, like in boxing, you'll have 80 amateur fights and then turn pro. You know, you've learned all you worked it out, and then go pro. Is you don't MMA's not really got that. Well, it's starting there now, but I think, you know, I learned all my mistakes, you know, by my lot. Like I've had 4 losses, and they're all, you know, through learning, and I've learned off them. So, and then the experience that have come with it all, and obviously I've enjoyed really.
So what's the next step then? I mean, yeah, there's obviously been a lot of talk about you moving down to welterweight. You're fighting at middleweight this Friday. What's in your future weight-wise? And, you know, here in Cage Warriors, the middleweight title's vacant at the moment. The division's wide open. What do you see in your future?
I'm really thirsty right now, so I'm probably not going to go down to welterweight. It was an idea that I was toying with. I think if you ask any fighter, as soon as you've weighed in, you're like, oh, I could do the weight below. But then when you start cutting again, you think, nah, my body's not built. I'm naturally built, big framed, you know what I mean. But I'm not a muscle bound guy like a lot of them. So I look smaller than the guys. But I think I've never lost a fight due to the guy because he was stronger or bigger than me. You know what I mean? So, you know, if I've ever lost, maybe the wrestling side have come out of it. But so more than likely, I can see me staying at middleweight, and for the reason that I like it at middleweight, and plus the middleweight division in Cage Warriors is massive. Is the reason I come to Cage Warriors is I want to be busy, and there's so many fights for me to fight at middleweight. It's one after another. I'm sure they could book me up every month if they wanted to. And as you said, it's a vacant title there as well. So it's definitely something that I want. So big win on the weekend, and we'll see where we go from there.
Jack, it's great to talk to you again. You can see Jack Marshman in the Cage Warriors Fight Night 10 main event this Friday night here in Amman, Jordan. Do check out cagewarriors.com for all the viewing details, and of course follow us on social media at Cage Warriors.